What's up, people? It's Niche Girl 30 here, and I know that I said I was going to do my power rankings from last week on here, and I actually did that video, but for some reason it's out of sync, so forget that, scrap that. I'm actually going to do the power rankings for July 14th. Now, before I get started, my heart goes out to Zack Ryder, Dolph Ziggler, and Justin Roberts. They were in a car accident recently, just leaving Comic-Con. Everyone's okay except for Zack Ryder. He injured his neck pretty bad, but yeah, he's pretty banged up, but he's all right. He's actually still walking. Dolph Ziggler is actually on the flight to Phoenix as we speak for Money in the Bank tomorrow. So right now they pretty much refuse treatment. But either or, it doesn't matter. On my Wrestling Fan Nation page, I actually did put the article down there if anybody is interested. And if anyone's interested in actually knowing about what really happened, I'm going to actually put the copy of the article in the description box below. So if anybody really wants to check it out, I'll leave it in the description box so anyone can click on it if they like. But anyway, let's get to the power rankings for July 14th. Now, I really got to start watching Superstars. Caitlyn is actually at number 25 this week. She had a big team victory on Superstars. She wasn't on here previously, so good for her. Jerry the King Lawler. I really wish that he was not on this list because it reminds me of that monstrosity of a match on Raw, but he is actually number 25 this week, and I could care less why, because I'm sorry. That match really does put a really bad taste in my mouth. Moving from number 21 to number 23 this week is Chris Jericho. And that's because that Chris Jericho actually did lose to Sheamus on Friday night. So he ended up dropping 2 spots from 21 to 23. Moving on from there, Lord Tensai went from 23 to 22 this week. Now, he moves up pretty much because of his tag team victory on Raw, so he moved up from 1 spot on 23 to 22. Moving on from there is Zack Ryder from 22 to 21, pretty much because the guy happened to be the GM of SmackDown. And I'm gonna be honest, I really did like SmackDown that week. It was quite enjoyable. The matches were really good, and it actually made everybody look good going towards Money in the Bank. So good for him. He moved up 1 spot. Going down from 19 to 20 this week is Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd did lose on Raw, so he ended up going down 1 spot from 19 to 20. And hopefully things will change if he does good at Money in the Bank. If he performs well at Money in the Bank, there's a chance that he may go up in rank. And I hope he will because the guy has a ton of potential. Moving down from 2 spots from 17 to 19 is the Primetime Players. Seeing how the Primetime Players lost to Epico and Primo, and they lost their previous match before, they end up dropping 2 spots from 17 to 19. Sin Cara ended up going up from 20 to 28. He's been going down as of late, so it's kind of good that he actually did. I mean, from 20 to 18, my bad. He actually has been doing pretty good as of late, actually winning against Alberto Del Rio on SmackDown, and seeing how that was really a good match, not only to make Alberto Del Rio look good as a heel, it actually did make Sin Cara look good going into the Money in the Bank match. So he went up 2 spots from 20 to 18. Moving on from 18 to 17 is Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow's victory over Justin Gabriel, and plus he is definitely getting a really big push going into Money in the Bank. So he actually moved up from 18 to 17. Now staying at a stagnant 16, which is something that confuses me because we really haven't seen much of this guy. And I'm talking about Brodus Clay. Even though he did beat Drew McIntyre on Raw, we really haven't been seeing much of Brodus Clay. So I don't know why he's at a stagnant 16, but he's at a stagnant 16 this week, and he's not going to go up and down unless he actually beats an opponent that is a little bit more higher than him. Now, standing at a stagnant 15 is Cody Rhodes. I don't understand why he's at a 15. I guess because of the fact that Cody Rhodes practically won. He just won a match last night. He had a tag team victory last night on SmackDown. So honestly, and the momentum that he had actually going into Money in the Bank, the fact that he beat Christian, and then the fact that he's actually a tag team, that he won his tag team match with Ziggler last night. Don't necessarily understand why he's at 15, but they have him on this list as 15. He's at a stagnant 15. Going down from 13 to 14 is Layla. Pretty much because we have not seen her lately, and she has not been she's not been in the match, in the ring, anything. She has nothing going on for her. So she actually did go down one spot. Moving up from 14 to 13 is Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion, should move up 2 spots instead of 1 because the guy has had a lot of momentum, just like Cody Rhodes had, being pushed. He's being really pushed along to be the favorite to win Money in the Bank. Plus the fact that he actually did win his tag team match last night, and he has been having wins as of late. So honestly, I really don't know why he's actually moved up 1, but he's moved up 1 spot from 14 to 13. Moving on from there, Kofi Kingston and R-Truth, the Booming Truth, have gone down from 11 to 12 this week, pretty much because they have not been performing. So they have gone down 1 spot. Christian, shockingly enough, Christian has actually dropped 2 spots from 18 to 11. And pretty much because that Christian has been putting a lot of young talent over, and he's been losing matches. So when he lost 2 matches, he ended up losing 2 spots from 8 to 11. But honestly, that's not bad. Even though Christian has dropped 2 spots on this list, and the fact he's been losing matches, he still have been looking good going into Money in the Bank. He never makes himself look bad. He makes his opponents look good, but he makes himself look better because he actually gives them something to fight for. He actually brings them up a lot more and actually puts a fight in them. So in a way, even though he loses, he still is very strong going into whatever he's going to. And going into Money in the Bank, he's still pretty strong. Moving on from there, going from 12 to 10 this week is AJ. Now, we all know why AJ has got the bump, because this feud, this storyline between the love triangle between CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, and AJ is starting to heat up. She's starting to become a lot more mainstream. The fact that she actually proposed to CM Punk on TV really did boost up the ratings, really did make a lot of people happy. And the fact that when she slapped them both in the face, really did create some kind of a soap opera-ish drama. So it honestly made people interested in that match. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It's a soap opera style love triangle. And for those that love soaps, will love this match. So she is bumped up from 12 to 10. Moving at a stagnant 9. And why this guy is getting higher is beyond me. It's Ryback. Ryback is a powerhouse, but he's a freaking powerhouse for weaklings. He has not had an opponent that is at his caliber and that actually is worthy enough to give him, well, let me rephrase that. Ryback has been doing nothing but destroying little guys. And sure, he went to mid-carders now, but these are like mid-carders that are like half his size. He needs competition. He needs to be fed, and he has not been fed at all. So why is he at 9 is beyond me. Moving up from 10 to 8, which makes me very happy, is the Big Red Demon Kane. Like, I'm sorry. This really does make me happy. I love Kane. And the fact that Kane has been dominant, well, actually, Kane hasn't really been dominant as of late, but it really does make me happy the fact that he had a chance to move up 2 spots, because he's had, at the Super Show, he actually was in the ring pretty much dominating people, like knocking them off right and left in the Raw Super Show match. And honestly, I really do believe that Kane is going to be pretty dominant going into the pay-per-view for his match for the WWE Championship. I don't really think he's going to win it, but honestly, I do believe that he is going to be dominant and he's going to put on one good show. Now, move on from there. It is at a status 7 is Santino Marella. Why this guy says 7 is beyond me, but I guess pretty much because of the fact that he revealed that Hornswoggle was the GM, the anonymous GM for all those years that we have suffered through the anonymous GM, blah, whatever. But Santino will always make me laugh. He will always be the bright spot of my day. And for any Raw that is ever crappy, I know this guy will definitely cheer me up. So if him being at 7, I don't care. Yay, Santino. Alright, moving on from there. John Cena is steadily dropping. So for all the Cena haters out there, you guys are going to love this. John Cena dropped 1 spot from 5 to 6 this week. And let's put it this way. Yeah, sure, John Cena has definitely declared that he is going to win the Money in the Bank match, and I hope that he does it. But let's face it, he really has not been pushed that well as of late. He has been looking a little bit on the weak side. Sure, he has a lot more of the WWE Universe backing him up, but I don't know. I mean, it makes sense that John Cena will actually drop from 5 to 6 because he really hasn't done anything spectacular to make him go up. But here's what their explanation is. On the Raw Super Show, John Cena did not mince words. I will do whatever I have to do to whoever I have to do to be the next Money in the Bank. The fired up superstar on a course to clear the ring from the fired up superstar looked on course when he cleared the ring of Big Show during the match with his fellow Money in the Bank combatants for this past Raw Super Show. Okay, sure. He looked dominant during that match, just like Kane looked dominant in that match, and Kane was dominant in that match. But I really don't think John Cena is going to win. That's just me. I hope he doesn't, because that will really piss a lot of people off. So, why did he drop? I don't know. Their explanation was positive, but they still dropped him anyway. I don't know. Whatever. Moving on to number 5 is Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is practically on fire as a heel. And not to mention the fact that with this whole AJ thing, let's face it, the whole AJ storyline has definitely... Actually, yeah, he dropped from 4 to 5. So he's dropped. He's dropped one spot from 4 to 5. But honestly, the one thing that I have to say is that if it wasn't for this feud between AJ, CM Punk, and himself, he would not really be in the top 5. Let's face it, he really wouldn't be. But with the whole marriage proposal thing, that pretty much really did put him up to number 5. So what's going to happen to Money in the Bank? How's the storyline going to be? I honestly don't know. But this makes sense to me. Going from number 6 to number 4 this week is Alberto Del Rio. And it's pretty much because of the match that happened last night. Alberto Del Rio has been on fire as a heel. He has been on fire all the way through. And that's one thing that really makes me happy about this, because Alberto Del Rio definitely epitomizes class. He's a mix between JBL. He has the whole mentality of, well, he doesn't really have the whole mentality of JBL, but he has the flashiness of JBL and the charisma as well as the class of Ric Flair. So honestly, I love this guy for that reason, and he's been dominant as a heel. The match that he had with Sin Cara was on point to me last night. I really did like watching it, and I'm glad that he's at number 4 this week. Moving on to number 3 is The Big Show. The Big Show, for crying out loud, has been a very dominant heel. He has not been using so many words but more actions, which makes me happy because that's what heels his size should do. Like Mark Henry. Mark Henry didn't talk all that much. He showed you what he was going to do to you, and he did it to you. And that is exactly what he's doing now. He has been dominant as a heel, and he's at number 3 this week, so that is great. I actually am happy, and he did decimate Kane, which really does piss me off, but either or, he is a real dominant heel, so he's at number 3 this week. Moving on to number 2 is CM Punk. CM Punk went from number 3 to number 2, and let's face it, his reaction, AJ's reaction to him rejecting her. Not only that, the fact that she came and proposed to him in the first place bumped him up to number 2. Had nothing to do with his skills with Daniel Bryan, even though the guy has major skills, even though the Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, the fact that they were at ROH together, and the fact that they have great in-ring chemistry had nothing to do with him being number 2 on this list. It's the fact that he was the object of AJ's desire. Now that he isn't anymore, well, who knows what's going to happen. Moving on to number 1, and we all know who number 1 is. He's been number 1 for 3 weeks in a row. It has not changed, is Sheamus. Sheamus has been very, very potent this week. He has had a lot of good matches that have put him over. He is hugely behind the WWE Universe. WWE Universe is hugely behind him. He's had a really great match with Jericho last night, and he stays at number 1, and it is unchanged. But how is that going to be with Money in the Bank? Does Alberto Del Rio have the shot at the title? Will he take the title away from him? I don't know. What about anybody else that actually is in the Money in the Bank match? Who is going to win the Money in the Bank match? The Money in the Bank match itself? Who's going to win the WWE Money in the Bank match itself? We don't know, but I'm going to come up with my predictions, and I'm going to upload it today on Saturday, and tomorrow is Money in the Bank, and I am going to do a review on that as well. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, y'all. See you later.